so much. Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me okay? I'm honored to be here and to receive this award, and I want to tell you what it means to me on a personal level as someone with working class roots and as a professional, as someone who teaches college students about the Triangle Fire. During my summers in high school and college, I worked at my father's machine shop in New Jersey, along with my older brothers, doing manufacturing work. And though the conditions were fine, I became sensitive to the demanding nature of the labor itself. I worked on a drill press, on a milling machine, and a lathe. It was tedious, repetitive, difficult work, but it was some of the greatest education I've ever received. I was able to gain an understanding of manufacturing, the kind of work done by generations of immigrants and children of immigrants. When I began my studies for my PhD in history at the CUNY Graduate Center, and I am the child of immigrants and the first person in my family to attend college, I resolved that I would forever teach my students about labor history and the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire in particular. At Lehman College in the Bronx, I assigned the book Triangle by David Von Drell. I won't ever forget the reaction of my students. They said, "These young people died in such a horrific manner. Most of them were women, even girls. They had their entire lives ahead of them. Little Rosaria Maltese was just 14 years old, younger than some of you sitting in this audience. We learned that industrial accidents and deaths were common at the time of Triangle in 1911. One historian estimates that 100 or more Americans died on the job every day during this era, in coal mines, in shipyards, in railroad yards, in steel mills, in garment factories. In fact, just 4 months before the Triangle Fire, an almost identical fire in a garment factory in Newark, New Jersey, trapped and killed 25 young women. And yet, workplace safety was barely regulated and workers' compensation was considered socialist. At LaGuardia and Wagner Archives at LaGuardia Community College, I continue to teach students about Triangle, and I am indebted to Senator Maltese, who donated hundreds of pages of documents to us that I used to teach about the subject, including newspaper clippings, photographs, and labor reports. These bring the subject alive and make it feel current and timely. Indeed, the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire is not just a distant historical event. It is something that we need to know about as we learn about labor struggles today, both at home and abroad, whether we raise awareness and advocate for underage slaughterhouse workers in Mississippi and North Carolina, or young women in sugarcane fields in India. And it's something for you too, as high school students and middle school students, to talk about in your own homes in Queens. Ask your parents about their own jobs, what your grandparents did for work, even your great-grandparents. What kinds of struggles did they encounter on the job here in the United States or elsewhere? And when you learn about your own family's labor history, you can make connections to Triangle and see that we all have a common bond, and that's the struggle of workers who toiled with the hope that their lives will be better and that their children will have opportunities that they didn't have. So let's never forget Triangle and remember the sacrifices of our own families. Those who came before us gave us the chance to work in safety and in dignity and fulfill our potential and live our lives to the fullest. And we can never take these rights for granted and have to remain vigilant to defend them. Thank you for having me here, and thank you for this award. It was one of the great honors of my life.